Welcome to Living Our Faith with Archbishop Jerome Listecki. The latest news, important issues, and stories of Catholics living their faith in the Archdiocese of Milwaukee. Here's co-host Bob Bennis.
Broadcasting from the studios in the Cousins Center, the hub of the Archdiocese of Milwaukee, overlooking beautiful Lake Michigan. Welcome to another edition of Living Our Faith here on Relevant Radio with Archbishop Jerome Listecki. Good morning, Your Excellency.
Good morning, Bob.
Well, we've got vocations, and vocations, as important as they are, we like to talk about them on a periodic basis. And today we're going to talk about Hispanic vocations.
Sure, there's a tremendous need, as you well know, as you take a look at the demographics, the increased number of Spanish-speaking individuals within our diocese. And I hesitate, I hate to use the word Hispanic, because Hispanic is like saying Slavic. You know, you've got Slovenians, you've got the Russians, you got the Poles, and they're all different. They're all different cultures, but they're bound together by basically a common type of language. But there is a tremendous need in the Archdiocese of Milwaukee, as well as many of the major dioceses throughout the country, for those vocations that are capable of understanding both the culture as well as the use of the language, so that it's a church that has its arms wide open, welcoming those individuals who are here embracing the faith.
And we welcome with us to the show today Father Enrique Hernandez. Father Enrique is the Vocations Promoter here at the Archdiocese of Milwaukee. He is born and raised in Colombia, South America. And also with us, student Manuel Santos. Good morning to you both and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for welcoming us to your program.
Good. I want to let you know that Father Enrique did a little correction on me.
And
I was talking about him being, wonderful, having a vocation from Colombia. Do you remember that?
I did. I do.
Now, would you do that again? No, I don't think so.
No.
Well, young priest, and of course, I inadvertently spelled Columbia C-O-L-U. Oh my God!
Oh boy!
I got. You know what happened? Being the Colombian, his ire came up. Oh my God! Oh my God!
Colombia, South America, not South Carolina.
Not South Carolina, exactly. Enrique does such a great job for us, and we're very happy. He's right in the line with Luke Strand in terms of embracing young men, and I can tell you how well respected, both as a young priest and Enrique is, as well as he continues on in the vocations office. So, Enrique, tell us a little about, first of all, your vocation. You know, how you came about, how you ended up here in Milwaukee. So how did that happen?
Thank you, Your Excellency. So the first time I thought about my vocation to the priesthood, I remember I was 9 years old. And I wanted to be a priest, and I told my mom, I want to be a priest, but I grew up in a poor family. And my mom said, no, you cannot be a priest. We cannot afford it. And when you are 9 years old and your parents tell you something, you think that's the word of God. And I totally forgot about the idea of the priesthood until I was in high school. But for different reasons, I couldn't enter the local seminary of my diocese, and I went to a different seminary far from my home. And Father Bob, who was the director for the vocation office at the time, went down to that seminary in Colombia and invited me to come to the Archdiocese of Milwaukee and study for the priesthood here. And that's how I ended up here in Milwaukee.
So before you left, you did get the blessing of your mother.
Yes, actually, I kind of lied to her because
you don't lie to Mama. Gosh, confession.
Yeah. Because I told her the invitation was to come for the Archdiocese and study for the priesthood here, but the first agreement was to come for 2 years and learn English as a second language, and then decided to apply to major seminary to St. Francis de Sales or go back to Colombia if I couldn't learn the language. So I told my mom that I wanted to come only for 2 years, and that was she agreed to that, and of the 2 years had been over 11 that have been in Milwaukee.
Now, it may sound strange to some of our listeners, as Enrique said about learning the language, because he said, well, wait a minute, if Father, isn't this a vocation? Shouldn't that be the consideration? Enrique certainly wouldn't have been cut off from going and pursuing either vocation back in Colombia or in a religious order. But the difficulty is when an individual comes here to Milwaukee, an individual would have to, in order to survive, to be successful, to be able to manipulate both cultures.
Certain level of assimilation.
To be able to do that. Yeah. Now, Enrique had no problem. Many of our seminarians, individuals who come over really have no problem mastering the language and the ability to communicate. And Enrique was no exception. He certainly did a tremendous job in that. I can now ask him, since he has so easily, mastered that, how important is it that you're able to function in those two worlds?
Oh, it's amazing. Importantly, because I'm a priest for the Archdiocese of Milwaukee. Yes, I'm an Hispanic priest, but I'm not a priest only for Hispanic communities. Mm-hmm. And I'm a priest for the whole Archdiocese, and English is an essential part of our culture, and is the great majority of the diocese, even though we have other communities within the Archdiocese, but English is the primary language that we speak.
How did you get chosen to be a associate director for vocations, and then following Father Luke Strand? We know what a great job Luke did in establishing. Now he's vice rector. How did you get chosen? What were certain characteristics or quality? Brag about yourself a little bit, Enrique, okay?
Yeah, I don't know if I can do that, but since I was in the seminary and since I've been a priest for years already, I see that there is a need for more priests, and there is so it has been deeper in my heart, invite others to the priesthood, and I see that the Lord continues to call men to answer that call. I think it's my desire to look for more vocations. Like, I have several. I'm not only the vocation promoter, and as well the associate pastor and Our Lady Queen of Peace. And when I visit parishes, I said that I don't want more priests in order to get less jobs and less responsibilities that I do as a priest. I want more priests because I am a happy priest, and I will not change it for anything. And I want to share that joy of my priesthood with other men who have the same call.
Let me give you a little background on Enrique. He served with Father Nate Reisman in Francis Cabrini. It was wonderful. Mm-hmm. Was well loved there. Served with St. Mary's too when he came in, and was well loved by the entire community. And I know his pastoral heart, so I know it had to be a difficult decision to move from there into an office. Because you are in an office, and as rewarding as the work that he does is for the entire archdiocese. On the priest's heart, it's difficult leaving the people that you minister, isn't it?
Yes, it was. It was really difficult. And I want to thank Archbishop Listecki, because when they approached me with the idea of becoming the vocation promoter part-time, what we were thinking other options for the other part-time position for me, and I wanted to be in a parish because I wanted that connection with that community and the people. Yeah.
So tell me, what does a promoter do? Rah, 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 vocations, rah, rah, rah. What does a promoter do?
The vocation promoter is go out and create culture of vocations within the Archdiocese of Milwaukee. So we go to visit parishes, high schools, confirmation retreats and talks in different parishes. I try to create the conscience and the culture of vocations, to tell people we need more priests, and we cannot do it ourselves. Father Luke do not have the answer. I don't have the answer. I don't know. We call it the silver bullet. I don't know if anybody has it per se, but the Lord says in the Bible that the harvest is abundant, but the laborers are few. But he gave us the answer, and the answer was, pray to God the Father to send us more laborers. So I think that's my biggest effort, is to let all the faithful to pray for more vocations, and the Lord will answer them.
Oh, that's great. That's great stuff. Thank you very much. We've got a young student, Manuel Santos, with us also. We want to hear your story, but we're going to have to take our first break. You're listening to Living Our Faith here on Relevant Radio for Southeast Wisconsin. We'll be right back.
This is Don Barclay and Corey Lindsley. Here's our friend and Uptown Motors sales manager, Jeff Sardina.
Thanks, guys. Hello, fellow Catholics. The new year is here now and is a great time to stop in to see the difference when it comes to purchasing a new or pre-owned vehicle. Make that purchase at Uptown, and we'll donate $200 to the school or parish of your choice, plus $100 to your food pantry. Come in and see us and find out what 70 years of serving Wisconsin means. It means award-winning customer service, satisfaction, plus a donation to your school, church, and pantry.
Uptown Motors is the dealership that gives back to the community, and they've been doing it for years. As a Catholic, why go anywhere else? Take it from me. When you stop in and meet the Uptown team, you'll see the difference. Uptown Ford on Mayfair Road, just south of North Avenue, or Uptown Motors in Slinger. Go to relevantradio.com, keyword Uptown. Uptown Motors, Catholic owned and Catholic proud.
Good morning. I'm Grace David with news from the Archdiocese of Milwaukee Catholic Schools. All Saints Catholic Schools West Campus, located in Union Grove, has undergone a change to a personalized learning model in a blended learning environment. This model blends in-person and web teaching. According to Jackie Lichter, principal of All Saints, this is a blended course where a portion of the traditional face-to-face instruction is replaced by web-based online learning. We use more of a personalized learning approach so that students can work at their own pace on their own personalized learning plan. Each student is assessed 3 times a year so that the All Saints academic staff knows which standards students have mastered and which ones they still need to work on. This model allows the students to follow their own instructional path and fully enhance their learning. To learn more about All Saints Catholic School, contact Jackie Lichter at 262-925-4000. Again, that's 262-925-4000. The 4th grade students at St. Matthias Catholic School are currently working on creating their own inventions. Students develop their own invention by creating a concept and design and filling out patent forms. St. Matthias completes this unit in collaboration with the Medical College of Wisconsin. Scientists from the Medical College come to St. Matthias to listen to student presentations, give students individual feedback on the invention, and guide them through the patent form process. This experience enables students to envision themselves as scientists and innovators as they learn design methods. St. Anthony on the Lake and Waukesha Catholic Middle School students participated in the Future City competition at the Milwaukee School of Engineering. Teams presented their Future City model and gave presentations before a panel of engineering judges. One of the St. Anthony on the Lake teams received the award for Best Essay out of the 65 teams competing. They should all be proud of their hard work. Great job, future engineers. And now moving on to headlines from this week's Catholic Herald. This week's Catholic Herald puts a special focus on Catholic schools with a family section. Children will tell you how great Catholic schools are. Kelly Gertz, a student in Mary Grogan's 3rd grade class at St. Alphonsus, shares her thoughts on why she likes her school. There's church, and we get to play games while we learn. The people you make friends with will last 11 years, because St. Alphonsus goes from 3K to 8th grade, says the 3rd grader. The family section also features Jack Beckos, a Marquette University high school student who recently had a successful run on the TV show Teen Jeopardy! Many Catholics, especially during Lent, use the Stations of the Cross as a special way to pray. Students are given a special experience of the stations through Casa Romero's Urban Plunge program. Students are led on a Stations of the Cross using Milwaukee landmarks, such as the County Jail and the St. Ben's Meal program, to experience the Passion of Christ in a modern urban setting. In the Herald of Hope column, Father Paul Hartman talks participation in the March for Life event in Washington, D.C. He calls the march America's largest annual uncovered news event. You'll find these and more stories in the Catholic Herald and at our website, CatholicHerald.org. This is Grace David. Thank you for listening. We now return you to Living Our Faith with Archbishop Listecki.
This morning we're talking about vocations, and in particular Hispanic vocations, and with us is Father Enrique Hernandez. Father is the Vocations Promoter here for the Archdiocese of Milwaukee. And we also want to welcome our second guest, student Manuel Santos. Good morning, Manuel.
Good morning.
Welcome to the show. Tell us the Manuel Santos story, if you would, please.
I'm from Delaware. I moved here a couple years ago, and I've been living here in Milwaukee for about 3 years. I moved here because my family, my mother in general, moved here because my grandmother was a little bit sick. It was kind of like sad for the whole family, and I decided to come and be with my mom during the time my grandmother passed, and I was coming just for 3 months. It's been almost 3 years here, and I started I've been thinking about, and we're talking about vocations. I've been thinking about vocations and thinking about enjoying the seminary, and it was like for me thinking about it, but I wasn't scared to do it because I'm like, no, that's not for me. That's not the way. I'm like, for Hispanics, like myself, and I was talking to Father Enrique today. It's hard because like our families usually are just telling us to be with a family, being a family, like marry, get kids. But they never ask us, like, do you think about a vocation, go to the seminary, become a priest, or just do something, like, different than just be with the family. So it's like, and I think about it, and I was like, it's great. And I'm so blessed to be able to be, or has been accepted to the major seminary next fall.
And when you talk about the impact that families have, we've heard over the years that can be a challenge. But then when you hear what the Archbishop was saying before the break about the real need for Hispanic priests in the Archdiocese, that in itself should be motivation.
It is, but like I say, our families, they just ask you to be with the family, make a family, right, get married, get kids. That's the Hispanic mind sometimes, to be honest. For me, the need to see and be able to help more people in general is my main goal. Be able to, I usually say this and always say this, like, I want to be a bridge between my brothers and sisters and God.
And I think that brothers and sisters bridge is basically an important one. Now tell me, you live with a group that's discerning vocations. Tell me about that.
It's good.
Where is it located? What's the house called?
We live in the JP2 house in San Robert Parish back in Shorewood. The director of the house is Father Enrique. I deal with Father Enrique in general every day. And it's really nice. During the day, we see each other, talk to each other. For me, it's been really good because I've been like making friends, like brothers.
Sure.
I live with another guy that I'm like usually really like cool to each other. Like we play, like make jokes. Everyone is like, you're going to the seminary, or you're going to be praying 24/7. It's not like that.
So 23/7, not 24/7. Is that it?
I'm thinking about 23.59.
And then to get a chance with these other individuals to talk about your vocation, to talk about your love for the church, to talk about how you envision basically serving God in this world, but maybe how you also envision yourself serving God as a priest.
It is.
So tell me in a particular way, how did your parents take your decision to be a priest or to discern for priesthood?
First, it was kind of secret, and I was not telling anybody because I was kind of like scared about my family to know that I was thinking about that. Because the first thing they are going to say is like, "You're crazy," like I said before. First, I talked to my sister because we were really close to each other, and I'm like, "This is what I'm thinking about it." She's like, "I support you. I'm with you. I'm here. I'll be here for you." I was like, "Thank you." And then, please pray for me. And then I talked to my mother. And the first thing she said, like, "Oh, I'm not going to get grandkids." I'm like, "Sorry, Mom, but God is calling me."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's very important. And Father Enrique, you would know this in particular. The culture of vocations needs to be nurtured. And now we were talking in terms of the reluctance of basically in the Hispanic families to accept a vocation. That's also true in the Caucasian community also. Mm-hmm. I've heard many times individuals say, it'd be great if your son became, I don't want my son to be a priest.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't want my son. But I have to admit, period of time I've been here, I've more and more encountered mothers and fathers who are embracing the idea of vocation. So it's changing.
Yes, it is. It is. And especially for the Hispanic community, because we are so family-oriented, my job as the vocation promoter is not motivate a guy to answer God's call. I had to convince somehow and to talk to the families as well, to support the young guys who want to answer the call. So for Hispanic family, the call is pretty much for all of them and not only for the individual who is going to become a priest, which is very interesting to continue to learn all those different aspects of culture within the Archdiocese.
So tell me a little bit about the programs that you have to promote. We have a seminary, Francis de Sales Seminary.
Yes.
And we have seminarians who are considered in theologate studying. Mm-hmm. We have a pre-theology program, so those individuals who have had no relationship to the church or vocation before, and they need to pick up their academic and theological understanding as well as formation. Mm-hmm. And then we have a college program, seminary. And then you have this group at John Paul II House that's older young men who are discerning priesthood. Tell us a little bit about these programs.
So I'm really convinced that the church is very wise. To form a priest takes a lot. It's not easy. It's not just to go to study. And we have all these programs to help the guys discern their call, answer the call, and be formed as a priest who are going to be holy and great pastors for the parishes. So one of them is like you mentioned, the House of Discernment, when the guys are going to college or work, and they live in community to discern a vocation before applying to the seminary itself. We're guys who are going right out of high school who can apply to college at the St. Joseph College in Chicago, or the college seminary at Loyola, and we have several guys there. And of course, after that, they can apply to St. Francis de Sales Seminary to finish their theological studies here in Milwaukee. And those who maybe are able to go to a different college because life brings them to a different college, but then they want to answer the call to the priesthood, we have 2 years of pre-theology, and then they can enter their theological studies at St. Francis de Sales Seminary.
If I'm a young man listening to this program, or I'm a family and I said, hey, I think I've got someone who would be good, how do we get in contact with you? What are the means to be able to ask you, hey, help me to discern, my vocation to maybe a priesthood?
Yes, my first thing is be in contact with your pastor in your parish. They are great priests in our parishes. And as well, call the vocation office. And we are with Father Luke Strand and Will Hudson, who is a lay person who works with us as well to promote vocations. And myself, we are here to help you. Just because you call us doesn't mean that we got you and you're going to become a priest. No, we are going to help you discern and listen to God's voice, and that's our job.
So what would be the contact?
My cell phone number is 414-801-7495. I give my cell phone because running for different places is easier to get me in my cell phone than in my office at the seminary.
And when you talk about all of these elements that are considered part of what you do as the vocation promoter, can you pick one that you find to be the most exciting part of all of these things?
The exciting part, and it's the frustrating part at the same time, is how the guys answer to God's call. It's exciting to this. One of the things is to learn how God calls and how God talks to them. It's beautiful to hear their vocation stories. And the frustrating part is how they are not willing to answer as I would like it to be. But it's the struggle of listening to God's voice and the fear that some of them have. But I was there at some point, so I understand the fear. But when they answer the call, God takes you on a great adventure, and it's beautiful.
Well, we sure have enjoyed having you both here. And for those parents or grandparents or even potential seminarians that are listening to us today, you can receive and find more information at the website, archmill.org. You can also check us out on Facebook, and we'll give Father Enrique's phone number again before we finish up the show. But right now, we're going to take our final break.
This is Don Bartlett and Corey Lindsley. Here's our friend and Uptown Motor Sales Manager, Jeff Sardina.
Thanks, guys. Hello, fellow Catholics. The new year is here now and is a great time to stop in to see the difference when it comes to purchasing a new or pre-owned vehicle. Make that purchase at Uptown, and we'll donate $200 to the school or parish of your choice, plus $100 to your food pantry. Come in and see us and find out what 70 years of serving Wisconsin means. It means award-winning customer service, satisfaction, plus a donation to your school, church, and pantry.
Uptown Motors is the dealership that gives back to the community, and they've been doing it for years. As a Catholic, why go anywhere else? Take it from me. When you stop in and meet the Uptown team, you'll see the difference. Uptown Ford on Mayfair Road, just south of North Avenue, or Uptown Motors in Slinger. Go to relevantradio.com, keyword Uptown. Uptown Motors, Catholic owned and Catholic proud.
Dr. Thatcher is a retired physician. He's the founder of the Eucharistic Apostles of Divine Mercy. Has traveled the planet spreading the message of Divine Mercy.
Drew, can I jump in one other thought, though, that really is important for me and my heart? I have seen, as I've traveled all over the world spreading Divine Mercy, I have seen the power of Catholic radio. When I go out and talk, it may be to 50 people, it may be to 100 or 200, but you can reach thousands at any one time and really change the world. And I cannot emphasize to people enough the importance of Catholic radio, Catholic formation, understanding the faith, helping people, as you do, to live their faith. And I would ask people, give what they can to Relevant Radio to keep this thing going.
Relevant Radio is listener-supported radio. Please call now with your tax-deductible donation. 1-877-291-0123 or donate online at relevantradio.com.
We'd like to thank our guest today, Father Enrique Hernandez, the Vocations Promoter here in the Archdiocese, as well as student Manuel Santos. And if you would like more information, you can reach out to Father Enrique. His phone number is 414-801-7495. Your Excellency?
Father Enrique, if it's okay with you, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Manuel so that he may lead us in prayer, maybe to start to try to exercise his role in ministry a little bit.
Wonderful.
So if you would lead us with the Hail Mary.
Oh, Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre Jesús. Santa María, Madre de Dios, ruega por nosotros los pecadores, ahora y en la hora de nuestra muerte. Amén.
And may the blessings of Almighty God be upon all of you. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Amen. Amen. Thanks for joining us today. Have a wonderful weekend, and let's all be transformed by the Spirit.
This has been Living Our Faith with Archbishop Jerome Listecki and co-host Bob Bennis. Join us again next week for the latest news, important issues, and stories of Catholics living their faith in the Archdiocese of Milwaukee.